Tuesday, April 19th. The end of the flood. Genesis 7:22-24 describes the overwhelming and comprehensive effect of the waters, which destroyed all living things. Genesis 7:23. And prevailed on the earth 150 days. Genesis 7:24. It is against this background of total annihilation and hopelessness that God remembered. Genesis 8:1. This phrase is situated in the center of the texts covering the flood, an indication that this idea is the central message of the flood story. Read Genesis 8:1, and it says, "But God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the cattle that were with him in the ark, and God caused a wind to pass over the earth, and the water subsided." What does it mean that God remembered Noah? The verb zakar, remember, means that God had not forgotten. It is more than just a mental exercise. In the biblical context, the God who remembers means the fulfillment of his promise and often refers to salvation. Genesis 19:29. In the context of the flood, God remembered means that the waters stopped. Genesis 8:2. And that Noah will soon be able to leave the ark. Genesis 8:16. Though no direct command is yet given to leave, Noah takes the initiative and sends first a raven and then a dove to test the situation. Finally, when the dove does not come back, he understands that the waters were dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked. Genesis 8:13. Noah's behavior is rich in practical lessons. On one hand, it teaches us to trust God even though he does not yet directly speak. On the other hand, faith does not deny the value of thinking and testing. Faith does not exclude the duty to think, to seek, and to see if what we learned is true. And yet, Noah goes out only when God finally tells him to do so. Genesis 8:15-19. That is, even when he knows it's safe to leave, Noah still relies on God and waits for God's signal before going out of the ark. He waited patiently within the ark. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 105 says, "As he had entered at God's command, he waited for special directions to depart. At last, an angel descended from heaven, opened the massive door, and bade the patriarch and his household go forth upon the earth and take with him every living thing." Read Genesis 8:1, 19:29, and Psalms 106:4. What does the expression "God remembers" mean? What does this truth mean for us now? That is, how has God shown you that he remembers you? From the book Patriarchs and Prophets, pages 99-101, it says, "As the violence of the storm increased, trees, buildings, rocks, and earth were hurled in every direction. The terror of man and beast was beyond description. Above the roar of the tempest was heard the wailing of a people that had despised the authority of God. Satan himself, who was compelled to remain in the midst of the warring elements, feared for his own existence. In that terrible hour, the people saw that the transgression of God's law had caused their ruin. Yet, while through fear of punishment they acknowledged their sin, they felt no true contrition, no abhorrence of evil. They would have returned to their defiance of heaven had the judgment been removed. So, when God's judgments shall fall upon the earth before its deluge by fire, the impenitent will know just where and what their sin is, the despising of his holy law. Yet they will have no more true repentance than did the old world sinners. Love, no less than justice, demanded that God's judgments should put a check on sin. The avenging waters swept over the last retreat, and the despisers of God perished in the black depths. Patriarchs and Prophets 99 through 101.